Simple if statement. In this lesson, we're going to look at the if statement. The if statement is a function within Excel. What it does is it will go and test to see if a condition is met. If the condition is met, there'll be a true value answer, and if the condition is not met, there will be a false value answer. Let's have a look at putting this into practice. Here I have an Excel sheet of a list of people's names and the years that they were born. I want to find out who was born before 1950. The answer that I would like is yes if they were born before 1950 and no if they weren't. So the answer is a yes or a no, so we're going to use the if statement. Clicking into the cell where we want the answer to go, we start off by typing in our if statement. We can do this by manually typing in the formula, or we can go into the Formulas tab and choose to use the Insert Function button. First, I'm going to do it using the Function button, and then in the next example, I'll do it just typing it directly into the cell. So in D2, I go up to the Formulas tab and I choose Insert Function. The first thing you do is you type in the name of the function that you're looking for, which is the if statement. So I'm typing in the word if, and then I press go. It will list anything matching those words here, and I select the one that's correct, which is if, and I press the OK button. It now has opened the function arguments dialog box, and I can see that there are 3 arguments for the if statement. The first argument is the logical test. It's asking me to type in the condition that it needs to check. I want to check to see if the birth year was before 1950. So inside the logical test, I make sure that my cursor is flashing in here by clicking inside, and then I go and select the cell that holds the birth year for this particular person, which is B2. I want to see if it's less than, because that's before, the number 1950. So I'm going to check to see if B2, the birth year, was before 1950. Then I have what happens if that's true. So if they were born before 1950, then the answer is the word yes. If they weren't born before 1950, well then the answer is no. Notice that it puts inverted commas around the yes and the no because they're pieces of text. So now when I press the OK button, I see that the answer is no. So this person was not born before 1950, which is correct. Nothing in this formula needs to be made absolute, so I'm going to drag down the autofill handle, and now I will see a yes for 1945 and a yes for 1932. Everybody else is a no, which is correct. Let's have a look at using the if statement for born after 1960, but this time we're going to type it in. So I start off with an equals, and I open up the function by typing in the word if, and then opening a bracket. Notice here that it tells me the 3 different stages. I have the logical test, I have the value if that's true, and the value if that's false. And all I need to do is to put in a comma to separate each section. So what is the logical test? The logical test is to check to see if B2 is greater than 1960. So I'm checking to see if the birth year was after 1960, comma. And you must put in your comma to separate it from the next section. What value should appear if that's true? Well, if they were born after 1960, then the answer is yes. This time, because I'm typing it myself, I need to put the yes into inverted commas, and then put in a comma to go into the false section, and again inverted commas for the word no as my false answer. Close the inverted commas and then close the bracket at the end. So looking at it again, I have the test, which is to check to see if B2 is greater than 1960. If that's true, the answer is yes. If it's false, the answer is no. So now when I press return, I get to see a yes, this person was born after 1960. And if I drag this formula down, I can see a no for 1953, a no for 1945, a yes for 1974, and a no for 1932. So whichever way you use your formula, you have three stages. The condition, what happens if it's true, what happens if it's false. Let's try that again in the next sheet. Here we have a passing grade of 70. If they're below 70, we want to see the word resit. If they're above or equal to 70, we want to see the word pass. And the answer should go into column D. So I'm going to start by choosing D2, where I'd like the answer to pop in. And then I start by typing in my formula or using the insert function. I'm going to continue typing, so I'm going to put in equals, if, and then I open my bracket. So the very first thing it asks is for the logical test. This time I want to see if my grade, which is in B2, is greater than the passing grade of 70. And rather than typing 70 directly into the formula, I'm going to select the cell that holds the 70 in it, which is G2. So I need to check to see, is B2 greater than G2, comma. If that's true, then I'll have passed my exam. So if I score more than the passing grade, it's a pass. So I'm going to select the cell that has the word pass in it. Then I put in my comma. And if it's not true, it means that I need to do a resit. So I'm going to click on G3, which has the word resit in it, and that will be my false answer. So looking at the formula again, I have the condition that it needs to test. I have what happens if that condition is true, and I have what happens if that condition is false. Closing my bracket at the end, I then simply press the return key. So we can see that this person here needs a resit. Before I go to drag this formula down, I need to be careful about what cells need to be absolute. All of the cells over here, G2, G3 and G4 should be absolute. So if I see G2 in the formula, I'm going to press F4 to make it absolute. G4, press F4 to make it absolute. And G3 I'm also going to make absolute. The only relative cell in this formula is the B2 because I do want that to change into B3, B4 and so on. So now when I hit return, the answer is still resit, but when I go to the autofill to drag it down, I get the correct answer for each one the whole way down. Now we have just one more thing to fix. Here we've said that B2 has to be greater than G2. So currently we're saying it has to be greater than 70 to pass. However, the information says above or equal to 70. So in my formula where I have B2 greater than G2, I need to put in an equal sign as well. So I'm saying if B2 is greater than or equal to G2, then it's a pass, otherwise it's a resit. So now if I press the return key and simply drag that down, it will now put in the greater than and equal to sign the whole way down. So now if somebody got a grade of 70, we notice that it's a pass. So that is the simple if statement.